Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, says government's introduction of gold catcher device is partly responsible for a surge in illegal mining.
Founder and former executive Director of Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, Professor Jima Bwedi, warns of potential threats to Ghana's democracy amidst election-related violence.
Also coming up in the bulletin tonight, the Upper East Regional Security Council engages security operatives after clash between police and customs personnel at Mesega checkpoint.
In international news, a doctor for U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris says she possesses the physical and mental resiliency necessary to serve as president.
This is News360. Man, I've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on X.
We're starting off on an unfortunate note because 2 people have been burnt to death in a car at East Legon here in Accra. Assistant Division Officer 1 Alex Kingnete is with the Public Affairs Department of the Ghana National Fire Service and will join us shortly. But on your screens now is the car that has been burnt without recognition. And we've been told that 2 people have died in there. Alex, good evening and thank you for joining us on News 360. Can you confirm this incident to us? We're having a little bit of a technical issue there. We're trying to get Alex. Alex, if you are back on, I was asking if you can confirm this incident to us and tell us what caused this.
So I can confirm that truly there was an accident, a head-on collision at East Legon, close to the Omama shop, and there was a T-junction there involving an Acura 4x4 vehicle and a Jaguar vehicle which collided. And due to the collision, it hit a wooden electric pole, causing the wires from the electric pole to fall on the car, starting a fire. Due to the collision, the two people were trapped in the vehicle and couldn't come out. 2 ladies. It looks like even though they were totally bent beyond recognition, we figured that they were 2 ladies at the back seat who were bent beyond recognition.
So is it 2 passengers in each vehicle or just 1 vehicle with 2 of these people that bent to death? Okay,
so the 2 people who were bent to death were occupants of the Acura vehicle. And so they were bent to death. The driver of the vehicle, I gathered, has been sent to the hospital. And then the 2 other passengers of the Jaguar vehicle also survived and have been sent to the hospital.
And are there other casualties, like in the area, people that were around? Have you reported any casualties after the 2 burnt people?
So no, we had to do well to keep the area cordoned, and then we called in police assistants who gracefully came on time to help us keep the crowd away. And so we had to call on our control room to alert ECG to cut power supply to the area because the wire that caused the fire was still lying on the floor and could have caused danger. So we had to let ECG cut power supply to the area so that we'll be able to adequately protect other people from being injured from the electrocution.
So currently, how is the area looking where the incident happened?
So right now, our crew are just about leaving the scene. The 2 people were bent, and even though they were bent beyond recognition, we had to be tactful not to dismember their bodies, or we had to give respect to the bodies because they were bent to flesh. So, and the flesh had, to paint a very unfortunate, gory picture, some of their flesh had melted onto the metal and the seats, making it difficult to get them out. So we had to be tactful in bringing them out and handing them over to the the police for further investigation and autopsy. So as it stands now.
Alex,
yes,
thank you as always for your time. We're grateful for that update there. King Alex Nete is the Assistant Division Officer 1. He is with the Public Affairs Department of the Ghana National Fire Service, giving us an update of the incident in East Legon where 2 people have been burnt to death. Now, let's continue with our fight against illegal mining, Galamsey.
Right, very sad story, Aisha. Now, to other stories now. The government this week relaunched a crackdown on illegal mining activities, deploying military personnel to key sites in response to threats by labor to strike. Now, as various stakeholders voiced their concerns, including calls for a state of emergency, President Akufo-Addo is expected to address the nation on this pressing matter. Here's a news desk report on the happenings thus far.
Organized labor on Wednesday, October 9, called off its planned nationwide strike to pressure government to tackle illegal mining. The Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, flanked by some members of organized labor, made this announcement.
Collaboration with the organized labor and other stakeholders to fight illegal mining, government has asked organized labor to nominate representatives to be part of the stakeholders committee to fight illegal mining in the country.
However, the announcement did not sit well with some members of organized labor.
We didn't finish the meeting and they called you guys to be to join the meeting. The 16 public universities have all voted unanimously and overwhelmingly to say that they want to go on an industrial action. And we don't care about what disorganized labor wants to do.
Following the announcements, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, declared an indefinite strike. A day later, on Thursday, October 10, the government commenced a crackdown on illegal mining, deploying over 100 military personnel to Galamsey sites across the country. In a bid to continue the pressure on governments, the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra on Friday, October 11, organized a prayer march to call for decisive action against illegal mining. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo is expected to address the nation in the coming days regarding the Galamsey issue.
As he returns from international assignment, he would have a dialogue with the country. He shall speak to the nation because this matter is of prime interest to all of us.
Speaking of the key points, Member of Parliament for South Dyke, Roxy Nelson Dafiamekbo, blamed the government for the surge in Galamsey activities.
This government has gone out of its way to buy what they call gold catcher. Right. What the gold catcher machine does is that it determines where there's high oil-bearing gold. So the contribution of the government to the menace is so profound.
Convener of the One Ghana movement, Senyo Hosi, also criticized the government's handling of the fight against illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey.
What I just heard is a joke, and the military should stop allowing civilian politicians to turn them into mascots. How did the Chamfon come into this town? The excavators, how do they get there? Do they fly?
Private legal practitioner Martin Pewu expressed concern about the military's involvement in the fight against Galamsey.
Number of military, being 100, they deployed this. Please, I want to call on the president, they should deploy more police. We don't want, the military, they've told us that they shoot to kill. Please, this shoot to kill thing, let's be careful. You see, if we are not careful, we are going to end up with the cure being worse than the disease.
For Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North, Andy Apia Kubi, Parliament must take an active role in tackling the menace.
We support the call for an immediate action pursuant to a systematic solution to the problem through other means, including legislation. And I call on Parliament to be responsible to the citizenry. Otherwise, we are also culprits in the failure to fight Galamsey.
The Attorney General has directed the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to submit Legislative Instrument LI 2462, which permits mining and forest reserves to Parliament for revocation. Civil society organizations are also calling for the president to declare a state of emergency to address the activities of illegal miners. But government has yet to take that decision. With the threat of illegal mining and its impact still visible, Ghanaians await to see what more government will do.
Meanwhile, Labour consultant Austin Game is calling for a halt to the practice of burning seized excavators in the fight against illegal mining.
Find those who are behind the purchase of these equipments. Yes, we can find them. All these equipments have chassis numbers.
True.
They have numbers on them. And they were brought through the harbor. They have owners. People bought them. We have the list of them. DVLA has custody of these things. Are we saying we cannot find? What we need now is to call for suspension of burning of the excavators. Rather, let's evacuate them. That one, I'm in sync with organized labor and the CSOs. Let them evacuate them. Let's look at the numbers. Let's find out those behind them and call them to be, let's hold them to be prosecuted. Those are the people to be prosecuted.
The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners plans to reclaim dark pits along highways and establish community enforcement committees as part of its commitment to promoting responsible mining practices. Now, during a regional dialogue with members in Osino, the General Secretary, Godwin Ama, emphasized the importance of adhering to mining regulations and suggested that the government ban the importation of Chanfam machines.
The reclamation that we want to do along the major highways as contribution from small-scale miners, which on the floor they all agree that we should support. Then some forms of operations like the use of the chamfan on the river bodies and also day heaping topsoil and using high-pressure water to dissolve them and liberate the gold and get them without pits. So if you don't have a pond, the activities go straight into the nearby river. All these are some of the interventions that we are ensuring that these illegal activities will be curtailed at the district level. The question is this: if you know you are on a water body, if you know you are working in the buffer zones, close to high tensions and closer to roads, you need to stop now. Because whatever will happen to you is you who have called for. Because areas that are not designated for mining, we are not going to allow. So my appeal is, number one, they should leave. Then small-scale miners that have been issued with licenses should work according to the tenets of the license. And we also want support from all Ghanaians because this is a shared responsibility. The youth, if they are not employed, they can be involved in other negative vices which will affect the development of the country.
Still staying on Galamsey-related issues, artisanal small-scale miners and community miners in Obuasi are once again urging the government to press mining giants AngloGold Ashanti to relinquish its abandoned concessions in a bid to create job opportunities and reduce illegal mining in the area. The group argued that the move would not only alleviate the rising unemployment rates, but also rejuvenate the local economy.
Most of the youth in Obuasi engage in mining activities for survival. The miners' continuous intrusion in the concession of AngloGold Ashanti to prospect for gold has been leading to unrest between the youth and the mining firm. They have been demanding for the release of some concessions owned by the company for community mining.
The sites that we are talking about are Castle, Katre Opila, and White House. These are the abandoned mining sites of AngloGold Ashanti Obuasi mine, which the company is no more working there. These abandoned mining sites can employ over 30,000 youth directly in Obuasi and its neighboring communities.
On May 30, 2023, over 80 illegal miners who entered AGA's underground mine were arrested. This led to destruction of properties by the angry youth, prompting the intervention of the military. Government assured the youth of finding a suitable mining site for them to do their legal artisanal mining activities.
Yes, we recognize that we need to find alternative means of employment and livelihood for the youth of Obuasi, and we are working with Anglo Gold and other stakeholders to do just that, including community mining, responsible regulated community mining, and so on and so forth. But that can never be, the lack of employment can never be a justification for illegally attacking the concession of Anglo Gold Ashanti.
But that promise is yet to be fulfilled. The youth have once again called on the government to engage Anglo Gold Ashanti to release its abandoned site for them to work on.
It is due to the closure of rock mining on the proposed abandoned mining sites of the company that has led many of the youth in Obuasi into alluvial mining, which is causing a great harm to our water bodies and our forest reserve. Striving for years to assess the viability of the site for a smooth takeoff of community mining scheme, there is a lingering challenge between our association and Anglo Gold Ashanti Obuasi mine on the use of the land, which needs your immediate intervention.
Responding to concerns of the youth, AGA says it has in recent times surrendered over 70% of its original mining lease to the Minerals Commission and has only retained areas critical to its current and future mining and infrastructure requirements. The company, however, assured the youth that it will continue to create job opportunities for them to reduce the unemployment in the area. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Obuasi, Ashanti region.
This is your Election Command Center. Now, the Member of Parliament for Agona West, Cynthia Mamia Morrison, has denied claims that a circuit court in Agona has enjoined her from campaigning and presenting herself as an independent parliamentary candidate until a final determination of the case. Now, on Friday, news broke that a district magistrate court at Agona Swedro in the central region had issued an injunction against incumbent MP Cynthia Morrison's candidacy for the Agona West constituency. She spoke earlier on Weekend Central on TV3.
No court has issued any warrant or whatever to me. I heard it yesterday evening after campaigning. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you can please let me have a copy of that letter. No, I haven't been to any court and no court has written to me. Somebody filed an injunction and they brought it to my school, but unfortunately I wasn't around. And so my administrator refused to accept it. And then they served me like 3-4 days ago. So I sent it to the court. And I'm now even talking to my lawyers about this. I'm surprised that I'm hearing this on air. So I don't know your source of information, but as I sit here, I'm just coming from a campaign grounds. I haven't had any letter from anybody. I am now talking to my lawyers and deciding on who would represent me in this case. I don't know what I've done wrong. I've been a member of parliament, and the request that I had states that I don't live in Agona West. Meanwhile, I have a property. 4 years ago, this thing surfaced. It was NDC that sent me to court, and then they lost the case. So I don't know why this is repeating itself, coming from my side of it. Oh, by the normal request that I had from court, I would have to go back on Tuesday. So Tuesday, I'm going to the court with my lawyers.
And now founder and former executive director of the Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, Professor Jima Boedi, fears that Ghana's democracy may suffer if measures are not taken to decisively address election-related violence. He was speaking during a roundtable meeting on election security.
The mobilization and use of thugs to guard electoral processes have become a regular feature in Ghana's electoral and political sphere, despite the country being highly celebrated as a beacon of democracy in Africa. While elections and electoral activities have generally been peaceful, none have been conducted without incidents of violence. In the 2020 elections, a number of Ghanaians were killed in post-election violence. However, 4 years on, those responsible for the violence and killings that characterized the 2020 general elections have not been held accountable. Speaking at a Center for Democratic Development roundtable meeting on election security, Professor Jima Boedi founder and former executive director of CDD Ghana, tasked the Election Security Committee to be more proactive.
In previous elections, we read reports of the main opposition party importing outside security experts to work with its own internal militia. Who knows if the opposition parties and candidates today or in this election would not do the same? And if they do, who knows where they will source their external security training or support from? After all, we are in the era of Russian and Middle Eastern security actors active in our neighborhood. We are in an era of Wagner, now Africa Corps, pervading in security sectors and in countries just above us in Ghana. These are indeed weighty matters. But as civil society, as key democracy and election stakeholders, the least we can do to prevent our December polls from adding to the West African carnage and democratic backsliding is to address the simple question of how to ensure fairness, equity, and balance in the deployment of national security resources, law enforcement, and justice administration.
The flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, is daring Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to return to the remotest parts of the Upper West region, where he used to take pictures of schools under trees and without modern furniture. John Mahama alleged that the then running mate made it a point to point out challenges in the educational sector while in opposition, but has turned a blind eye to over 1.2 million children who are in school without furniture. The NDC flag bearer is in the Upper West region, canvassing for votes. Here's a report by Komala Kluche.
With 57 days to the general elections, the NDC flag bearer sees every day as accounting to that badly needed victory. He has to give the NDC in reset in the country, set to have been run aground. 8 of the 16 regions covered so far, energy reinvigorated to push further. On Saturday, John Mahama thronged 5 constituencies in the Upper West region, in which out of the Wild West constituency, John Mahama intimated that sloganeering is not an option for Ghana and its current crisis.
These 8 years have not been wasted. They've been a very useful experience for the people of Ghana. That is not the person who makes the sweetest promises that makes the best leader. That is the lesson this last 8 years have given us. That is not the person who makes the sweetest promises who would make the best leader. The one who makes a good leader is the one who tells you the truth, is the one who is honest, is the one who won't tell you what he cannot do, is the one who does and does not talk.
The Member of Parliament for the constituency, Peter Lancheni Tobu, says the number to be obtained at the polls will be record-breaking.
In 2016, NDC got over 12,000. In 2020, when I arrived, we pushed the 12,000 to almost 28,000. And I can assure you this year, we are looking at the figure 40,000 and beyond.
In Guripiem of the Wa East constituency, the approach is to charge supporters and electorates to get the voters' card in readiness for a bold statement.
We have the largest number of spout ballots in the northern sector of this country. A lot of our old ladies and old men don't know how to vote. A lot of even our first-time voters have a problem with voting. The law says that you are allowed to ask for assisted voting. And so if you have your grandmother, your grandfather, don't let them be shy about it. Go with them to the polling station and let them tell the presiding officer, this is my son, this is my daughter, this is my brother. I want them to come with me to help me to vote. The law allows it so that we can reduce the number of spoiled ballots.
The entourage then moved to Dafiama Buse Issa.
This year's election, we have a choice to make. We have to choose between the path of life and the path of death. NDC is the path to life.
Running mate Mahmoud Baumia, when he was running mate to Akufo-Addo, he used to come and roam in Upper West here and look for schools where there was no furniture and see children sitting on stones. And he would take pictures and go and say, I visited this school and they didn't have furniture. NDC has failed to give him furniture. Today, 1.3 million basic school children have no furniture. And yet he is in charge of the budget today. He doesn't even need to use his own pocket money to donate that furniture. He can take it from the budget and buy furniture for those children. Why is he not doing so? I challenge him to visit the schools in Upper West that do not have furniture, and he should provide them with furniture like he was doing when he was in opposition.
The Upper West region has 9 constituencies. With the NDC in firm control, they appear unsatisfied with the numbers as it is a region they consider a stronghold. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Dafiama.
Still on elections, a deputy director in charge of conflict management and resolution at the National Peace Council, Frank Wilson Boja, has emphasized the need for political parties to commit to signing a peace pact ahead of the December 7 elections. He noted that a peace pact is essential to encourage dissatisfied political parties to seek democratic avenues for addressing any grievances that may arise from the elections.
The National Peace Council hosted Sophia Kamasa, a student of the new Ayoma Junior High School in Jasikan, as part of activities marking the International Day of the Girl Child. Sophia, selected by Plan International Ghana, visited the headquarters of the National Peace Council to learn about its activities and explore ways she and her fellow girls can contribute to promoting peace in their constituencies during this election season.
And I suggested that they should work with children and adolescents in rural communities, because when there is peace, there is unity. The political party should promote peace and be fair in their election times, no cheating.
Gender specialist with Plan International Ghana, Esinam Ahiadome, emphasized the need to create opportunities for girls to thrive.
Girls and women across the globe have challenges in occupying decision-making processes. And so where a man is in leadership, groom girls to take over from those positions, to just encourage them that they are capable of taking up those positions.
A deputy director in charge of conflict management and resolution at the National Peace Council, Frank Wilson Boja, stated that the council is actively embarking on a peace campaign in 36 identified hotspot constituencies to de-escalate tensions ahead of the December 7 polls.
Very important thing is that we want every Ghanaian to be peaceful, prevent violence around the election. So our target is not only the political parties, but the individual citizens of the country. But in few days to come, we are going back into the regions and the constituencies. In fact, we have, as you know, we have identified 36 hotspot constituencies that have had election-related violence in the past. So we are going to engage such constituencies to reduce the tension and anything relating to violence in those constituencies.
He mentioned that political parties are being engaged to sign a peace pact.
We want a peaceful nation. So you don't settle your scores on the streets. Actually, you settle your scores using the democratic, non-violent means. And one of the non-violent means is to go to court. If they will not even go to court, they will have alternative dispute mediation mechanisms to address their differences. So the truth is that all that we want is that for the peace pact to compel everybody, whether in opposition or ruling, your dissatisfaction with any election-related matter to be settled amicably or through non-violence means.
A nationwide peace campaign aimed at establishing peace clubs in primary, junior and senior high schools as well as tertiary institutions will be initiated by the National Peace Council in the coming weeks. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
This is News 360. Stay with us for some more news right after the break.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
How can we solve the unemployment crisis in Ghana? Yes, Massa.
By using formula 133.
Can you expatiate?
Say, this simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. That is the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. Under this policy, businesses will be given tax incentives, cheaper electricity, financial support, and security support services to encourage them to work 24/7 by adopting 3 work shifts of 8 hours each. This will triple job opportunities in the country. This policy will boost production, increase productivity, and generate well-paying jobs in all participating businesses and public organizations.
Excellent. The 24-hour policy will be a game changer.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, Soft Care always stays with you.
New Soft Care Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
Soft Care. Protect your leap.
Thank you for staying with us on News 360. Let's now take you to the Upper East region, where the Regional Security Council, led by its chairman, Bin Salih Hafiz, has visited Boku to engage security operatives following Wednesday's violent clash. The minister held engagement with operatives and also called on the Boku Naba. Correspondent Castro Senyala was with the team and filed the following report.
Wednesday's violent clash between personnel of the police and customs at the Misiga checkpoint over a truck intercepted smuggling cocoa beans has brought a number of disturbances among state security agencies in the region this year to 4. The clash, which happened barely 2 months after a similar incident at Kulungugu between personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service and customs, has got the Regional Security Council worried. Speaking when the RECSEC made a stop to the Boku Nabas Palace, Regional Minister Bin Salih Hafiz gave the assurance to find a definite solution to the recurring clashes among the security agencies.
We are here to also meet with security personnel based in Boku. A few days ago, there was a nasty incident at Fulmakun. Hence, we met yesterday to resolve the issue. And I want to report to my father that we're able to resolve the issue.
The Boku municipality for some months now has enjoyed relative peace after years of violent conflict over the right of chieftaincy. Addressing the gathering of security operatives drawn from the police, immigration, customs and army, the regional minister reiterated their role in helping in restoring the peace of the region.
To say that this is our decision. However, we decided that we will come here and let you know that you need to operate as a team. The color of your uniform should not differentiate you. The goal is the same, to ensure that there is peace and harmony in the country. That is what we should all focus on.
With elections fast approaching, the threats of terrorism getting worse by the day, security agencies need close collaborations to deal with the emerging crisis.
So please, we are here to implore you to let that incident be the term of the past. And it should be the last time that we're going to register a fracas between security agencies in the world. As you do things together, you will bond. That unity is crucial.
The regional minister later observed Juma prayers at the Boko Central Mosque.
Now, despite their passion for the teaching profession, the lack of motivation and incentives for rural teachers is affecting their daily struggles to impact knowledge. The lack of accommodation in rural communities for teachers, poor school infrastructure coupled with poor road network is making the already difficult situation even worse. Christopher Mwaku put the spotlight on the glaring challenges of some rural teachers.
41-year-old Adam Abdullahi is a teacher working in the Nanumba North municipality in the northern region. He's looking beyond the glaring challenges to help rural pupils. As a teacher at the Lompe MA Primary School, the burden is even heavier. Adam must traverse an incredibly 9-kilometer path for over an hour to reach the riverside and then use a canoe to cross.
I commute from a different place to teach at Lompe Primary School because there is no any form of accommodation for teachers.
His fears reflect the struggle to impart knowledge while also finding his daily bread to feed his family.
For instance, I fear water. I fear water a lot. But our services are needed at Lompe Primary School. And for the passion we have for the job, one have to commit himself by passing through this risk to the school.
With no life jacket and a paddling stick, Adam Abdullahi uses his sandals clipped in his hands to paddle the canoe across the river to school.
It is not easy. I always find it panicking anytime I get here because this stream is not a small stream. Crossing it without a life jacket, it's like we are digging our own graves.
After nearly 15 minutes, we finally docked on the other bank of the river to continue our journey. We walked for another 15 minutes and by 10 a.m. we arrived in the Lompe community. Filled with joy at seeing their teacher, the children hailed him and followed him to school. However, with life-threatening school infrastructure, a lack of furniture, inadequate teaching staff, and insufficient teaching and learning materials, the situation is dire.
Looking at the walls, there is nothing like a blackboard or a marker board. Sometimes you just have to come, dictate, talk, explain things haphazardly and let them go. Sometimes you are discouraged to even be a teacher.
Teachers who accept posting to deprived areas are supposed to receive an allowance to motivate them to stay and impart knowledge. But this allowance, according to the teacher unions, has not been forthcoming.
The worker is supposed to work under safe and conducive environment. So if you are a teacher, you are working at a place that you don't have a befitting facility, you don't have a potable water, then you find it difficult how to reach areas.
Education watchers argue that the uneven distribution of resources between urban and rural areas and the resulting outcomes require urgent review. With that, Saibu, Executive Director of School for Life Ghana, believes the time is now to demand concrete motivation and other incentives for rural teachers.
For so many schools, because of the deplorable nature of the infrastructure, schools are practically cut off during rainy seasons. It's like it becomes like a holiday more or less for teachers and learners in those schools.
With over 60% of Ghana's population living in rural areas, developing rural education to propel national development should be a priority. As Ghana aims to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 4, government reforms must also consider the plight of rural teachers.
And looking at the trend and looking at the realities in the especially rural communities where we operate, that only buttresses the fact that we are far from really achieving the target by 2030.
Until then, the future of hundreds of children in the Lompe community will continue to hang in the balance. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Lompe.
Away from that, the Controller and Accountants General's Department has cautioned chartered accountants against involving themselves in financial misappropriation. According to the department, such misappropriation, especially those captured in the Auditor General's report, tend to affect government revenue mobilization. Deputy Controller General Emilio Sedechi was speaking at the induction of chartered accountants here in Accra.
The Deputy Controller and Accountant General, Emilio Sedechi, underscored the role of chartered accountants in public financial management. However, she expressed concern about some chartered accountants who have been involved in financial malfeasance. Most of these cases, according to the Deputy Controller General, have been captured in the Auditor General's report.
There are laws in this country that deal with malfeasance and stuff like that. So the law will definitely take its course. We see these on the Public Accounts Committee all the time. Those who have misappropriated are transferred or given to law enforcement agencies for action to be taken.
The president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ICAG, Augustine Nado, insisted that the institute, as a regulator of the accountancy profession in the country, will revoke the licenses of those caught in financial misappropriation.
You remember, for example, when the banking crisis came in and some banks were folded up, we realized that these banks were audited by some auditing firms. So we went ahead and audited the auditors who audited these banks. And those that were found culpable in terms of not going through their audit in line with the standardized audit practice, we imposed sanctions on them.
In all, more than 600 chartered accountants were admitted into the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. They pursued programs in public accountancy and taxation. Other programs included forensic and financial management, as well as corporate governance. Students who excelled in their fields were rewarded.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union has called on the all-female workers to capitalize on the National Health Insurance Scheme to screen their breast against breast cancer. According to the union, failure to detect and screen the breast could affect the workforce of the country. Leadership of the union was addressing workers of the ICU to mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Accra.
Breast cancer is the second most common cancer worldwide. In Ghana, figures from the Ministry of Health indicate that 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer annually, while 70% of these cases are detected at an advanced stage. The figures also show that 2,000 of these women report death every year. The government has already included breast cancer screening in the National Health Insurance Scheme. October is observed annually as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As part of the awareness creation, the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union (ICU) has called on female workers to undergo regular breast screening to ensure early detection of the disease. The Chief Industrial Relations Officer of ICU, Maku Vondi, who read a statement on behalf of the General Secretary of the ICU, Morgan Ayawini, underscored the importance of breast screening.
As employers and as trade unions, the workforce and our members are our most important assets. Hence, if one of them is affected, it impacts negatively on all of us. Through the provision of education about the characteristics of breast cancer, we believe that more people can become informed about this disease, leading to improved treatment outcomes due to early detection and better treatment methods.
A health specialist, Ruth Katamanson, urged women not to shy away from breast screening.
As a woman, every month, after 7 days after your menses, you are supposed to examine your breast and know if there is any abnormality. And then within the year, you pick just a day and come to the facility. Maybe you couldn't see something properly. The health professionals will be able to detect. A
member of ICU, Esena Mpuku, expressed confidence that more female workers will undertake breast screening going forward.
You find it difficult getting people walking to a healthcare facility to get screened because of a lot of factors. So this is to empower them to take charge of their health.
Reminders to watching News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. We'll be back shortly.
Free bets? You might follow these steps. You can join 1xBet app. Confirm your participation. You can bet on the correct match score. You can get a free bet every week. 1x free bet. Active bonuses for active players.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below 18 years. Gambling can be addictive.
I see, Monsieur Namid 200 Ghana could also sister. Buy you in your 5 cities and then 40 Ghana. Hey, take one container your 40 to 50 pesos and not 20 Ghana. And then a dancing or long can do 30 Ghana. Aday, on my bay money away.
What was our casa? Michel Dean. Sha, Doctor Midi 20 Ghana. Ah, me pay for me 15 Ghana cedi a day. Omo be na woman ya koya na ate yesan bai
hwe enye duane bonko an ekosoro John Dramani Mahama time Smith 1 bag ne ye 24 Ghana cedis me nkonto Smith 1 bag a yesi eye 108 cedis ayon ross ye beton sen it is say wo si dan a sen e na wo be say John Dramani Mahama ba ma giyen a ye be wo
ya nya bibia fa ho okom be kuyen yo
okom ne de enkuyen ye be fa ye ho adwen pa na MPP aban wadi ehwamo ankasa
medie menim wo haw na medie mehwe masetirem na mato ababa
ene sa na tie de a eye akufu ade ne nipa wo mi a nyame ya dom ne se December 7 dura ye be tuo masese de YouTube
ye be tu ankasa
hwe wasetne moto abapa e de sakraya papa beba wa brabo mu to abama John Mahama ne NDC.
Time now for sports. And Ghana are currently in a tough spot with just 2 points from a possible 9 in the AFCON 2025 qualifiers and need a victory against Sudan and Libya on Tuesday to boost their chances of qualification. On Warmer Plus earlier today, former Black Stars player Sam Johnson has advised the current Ghana group to treat the upcoming match like a final.
So this is supposed to be their final game. When they do that, they will win this game. Because I quite remember we played against Ivory Coast. They beat us finals 92. We meet them again at Tunisia. They beat us again 2-1. And then two years later, we meet them at South Africa. And all the players, we said, Charlie, for these guys to beat us 3 times, that means that we can't stand them. So we have to stop that. We don't need to carry this thing. We need to stop it. Collectively, the whole team, everybody is like, Charlie, yeah, boy, and if we play this match, we can lose the other 2 matches and we go home. We have to win only this match. And that is where they are now. They have to win this game at all costs. After that, that's it. Because if they win this one, that will give them the energy to go to the next game. So whatever they have to do, they have to come together and know that they are in Africa. This is not Europe. They should play like Africa so that they will win. And I'm sure when they do that, that mentality need to be switched. They need to switch it, and you know that aggressive. Charlie, we need it. We want it. So they should play this game, only this game. After this game, then we can talk about the next.
On the other side, Ghanaian coach Kwesi Appiah believes his team Sudan will qualify for the AFCON 2025 ahead of Ghana.
It's a difficult game, but we managed to fight and get a draw. We are now going to play the return leg in Benghazi. It's not going to be easy, but inshallah, we're going to fight and make sure we get a big victory for Sudan. Thank you very much.
Now back to the local scene here, and Hearts of Oak players are under immense pressure to deliver on Sunday against newly promoted Young Apostles after earning just 5 points in the first 5 Ghana Premier League games this season. Head coach of the side, Abubakar Ouattara, believes the game will be tough.
The boys respond well, are ready to make it. You know, the problem sometimes is mental. We are working on, we're talking with them, we exchange some things and tactical issue. We are talking, we are explaining. Then everybody has given a view that we are trying to correct, all of us. We are trying to correct our own mistakes. It's positive from the boys. It's one of the strong team who are doing best well, and we are good there. We know it's not just a small match. It's one of the tough match we are going to play in Wenchi. We hope we can deliver, but we can't say it's easy match, or because our young news who are coming for the Premier League. When you are in the Premier League, you are at the same level. We can't say you have advantage on them. No, we are going to play serious match with one of the serious teams.
All right, so let me just take you through some fixtures for this weekend. That's tomorrow. And we have Accra Lions versus Brekum Chelsea, Heart of Lions versus Vision FC, Adriana FC versus Dreams FC, Nations FC versus Bibiani Gold Stars, Samatex versus Nswatreman. We've got Young Apostles versus Hearts of Oak, and then Holy Stars versus Karela FC. Let's now bring you the very latest in the world of entertainment.
Ghanaian actor Richard Kweku Asante, also known as Calibos, has urged content creators and entertainers to rally behind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's digitalization agenda to enhance their work and enable them to export content more easily.
Speaking at a meeting organized by the Ghana Bloggers Association, Calibos noted that putting in place the right digital infrastructure will transform Ghana's creative and tech industries. With the necessary structures in place, his sure content creators and filmmakers will be able to connect to audience and markets around the world.
I'm also in the movie space. We talk about Netflix. That's the world, evolved platform now that's through digitalization, people are being able to stream our movies and all that. We need agencies built in Ghana. Nigeria has this Netflix thing going big for them because they've been able to welcome a Netflix agency into Nigeria, same as Amazon. All these things are policies that needs to be set in place before it can run. Now the world is evolving. There are a lot of things moving on in a different manner. At first it was just with the cinema system that I know that I can premiere my movie for people to watch. But then I've got to know that there's a bigger platform, not just Ghanaians watching, but then those in the different countries getting to see your content. And this then has its basis formed on digitalization.
He also highlighted how the agenda could strengthen the Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, in the collection of music royalties for artists.
Past musicians and all that. Just quite recently, I got to realize some money being paid to them. It was something disheartening, you understand, for all the good works they've done. So had it been we had the digitalization in our system in every aspect that was being set up, that is actually calculating their royalties per radio, per TV station, we don't have to go and sign. Now they were asked to go to TV station, radio stations to bring, database of how many music hours they played. No. We are evolving.
The meeting explored the role of digitalization in transforming Ghana's creative industry.
Ace Ghanaian rapper Edem recently completed a multiple-city U.S. tour where he was promoting a newly released international collaboration titled Drip, which features Gambo and U.S. rapper Jim Jones. Now, the VRMG boss has been opening up about the tour and his working relationship with versatile rapper Gambo.
The last time I was here, went back home, we did Edem Fest. It was a crazy one. Like you said, I'm in the US a lot. I've been pushing. It's a lot of work. It's a new market. It's a different playing field. I would say we are learning on the job. But most importantly, the wave is right. Reception is always awesome. They're excited. I think people are always excited to go to new territories, especially knowing the fact that our sound is present in their market. And so it's been a good one.
To New York and on our way straight to Ghana. When they see me, they salute it, don't da-da. Let's go get drip, triple drippers, drip, triple drippers.
It's been an interesting run with my little brother Gambo. Very focused, very tunnel visioned. And being around the business, talent is important. Then hard work and focus and determination is like really an important acumen to have as an artist. And so I saw his fire, I saw his abilities, and so we connected, and then we did it in Ghana, shot the Drip video, blazed the country, shared stages, and then crossed over to continue to pursue the dream.
Drip, triple drippers, drip, triple drippers.
Doctor for U.S. Democratic presidential candidates Kamala Harris say she possesses the physical and mental resilience necessary to serve as president. Kamala Harris hopes the latter would put pressure on her rival Donald Trump to release his own records. Harris, 59, is running against Republican Trump, 78, for the White House. The Trump campaign says in a statement that his doctors have concluded he is in perfect and excellent health to be the commander-in-chief.
And that's it for this edition of News 360. It came to you live from our news hub here at Adesawe, Kanda. Remember, you can find more news on 3news.com. My name is Aisha Yakubu Hali.
And I am Pakusi Asari. Thanks for watching.
Great new design, fit right, reducing friction. It absorbs all liquid to prevent leakage. This advert has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
As from today, my plan
begins.
The 16 regions of Ghana are bustling with untapped riches. Western region boasts of $412 billion in mineral resources. Volta region holds $192.6 billion. Eastern region holds $174 billion US. Together, our regions